Good morning, everyone. This is Chris around the ATL. Thursday. I don't know what the date is. Be sure to subscribe to the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel for episodes of Around the ATL. All right, so I got a question, and I'm going to word it a different way than I've been doing it over the last few months, okay? I'm going to get to it in a second. Over the last, 30, 40 years or so, I've wanted the Atlanta Hawks to win a championship. Now, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I started watching Hawks basketball and decided they were going to be my team. Probably subconsciously, 83, 84-ish, but probably not seriously until 85, okay? And so every entity called the Atlanta Hawks since then, I've wanted them to win a championship. No matter who's on the team, who is on the roster, I need y'all to win a championship. Now, at the beginning of the season, everybody has a chance to win the championship. But at a certain point of the season, you have a pretty good idea the team is not going to win a championship. And you know why most of the time. You know which players are really not that good, right? You know who they are. And those guys need to go. And I was one who was very vocal, even back then, with my newspapers and everything. Man, John Concat, what are we doing? What are we talking about? Right? Just as just one of a billion. Sheldon Williams, what are we doing? Why is he still here? Why is he on the floor? What are we doing? Right? Now, that being said, the Atlanta Hawks don't have a championship yet. And if you've been watching the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel for Around the ATL, you know I've been saying the last few weeks the Hawks should have 5 NBA championships right now. 5. One with Dominique, at least one. One with Mutumbo, Mookie, and Smitty. Okay. One with ISO Joe. Oh my goodness, what in the world? Almost got into an accident. One with ISO Joe, Josh Smith and them. One with Al Horford and Paul Millsap. And one with Trae Young, John Collins, and the rest of the guys. Instead, the Atlanta Hawks franchise only have 2 Eastern Conference Finals appearances. We only have 2 wins in the Eastern Conference Finals. And they came within the last 15 years of Atlanta Hawks basketball. That is a fact. I can prove it. Okay. Now, fast forward. The last 8 seasons, I have wanted the Hawks to win a championship. What have some of y'all been doing? Because, see, I wanted every game to be a victory. And when it was a victory, I was excited and happy. For every loss, I was mad. But, hey, let's go out there and go do it again and see if we can win. The rest of you were happy with every loss. You were giddy. You were joyous. Yoo-hoo, we lost again. Because I hate that player. So I hate the team. That's what y'all were doing for 8 seasons. I can prove it. For every post you've ever posted, ever, I can prove it. You hated the fact that at one point, the Hawks were a playoff contender. The Hawks actually won playoff games. The Hawks actually won playoff series, and they were within 2 victories of the NBA Finals. You hated and loathed all of that. You hated that the Hawks qualified for the playoffs 3 straight years. You hated that. You loved that Miami series, though. Even though, again, As I've said on the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel, you knew Clint, non-factor, hurt, only played 2 games. Bogey, missed game 5. Lou, Will, not even available at all. Right? John Collins, playing hurt. Shouldn't have been playing, played hurt. So your core decimated. And 2 players that should have been able to help, Kevin Huerter, Red Mamba, and Gallo, did nothing. Did nothing. We did win a game, though, despite all that. We didn't get swept. We were in the game. We were in the series. We had some chances. But everybody didn't deliver. So again, Coach Spo, being the coach that he is, he dared that one player to average 29 and 10 against him. He wasn't going to let that happen. It's like Will Smith and I Am Legend. I'm not going to let this happen, right? All that being said, the moment that player was gone, all of a sudden now, oh, well, anything that happens now, it's okay. It's all right, because that other player is not here. So even if we don't have really great accomplishments in the playoffs now, it's all right. It ain't no big deal. We're really good. We're really good now. So again, I'm going to ask the question. This is just a basketball question. Did the Atlanta Hawks make it out the first round of the playoffs this year? Yes or no? Why didn't they? Because why didn't our best player play their best in their first real playoff appearance? He's been in the league for 5 seasons. You can't give me an excuse, oh, well, he has to get more experience. No, sorry, that ain't going to work. Because that other player in their 3rd season in the NBA got a team that was less talented than this one to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's a fact. So what was the excuse? Because again, everybody said you get rid of this one person, this one player, this player that's been holding everybody back, you get rid of him, we'll sweep through the playoffs. We're the best team in the East. That's what people were saying. That's what people were saying, and I expected it. I said in January on the IMTM Worldwide Radio YouTube channel, in January on Around the ATL live, we got to win the championship this year. We got to win it this year. And we definitely got to win it within the next 2 years after that, because otherwise, what are we talking about? Want to know why I keep saying that? Because I said for the first time, we could have had 2 all-NBA players on the team at the same time. Multiple all-stars on the team at the same time. Along with that, 2 most improved players on the team all at the same time, with one of those players being an all-defensive player, defensive player of the year, perennial candidate on the team at the same time. And our organization said, nah. What did Weebay say? Nah. Get some more horseradish. Right? Nah. Right? For the first time in his career, you had somebody play 70 games of 30 minutes or more. He had never done that before. Again, what would Hawks history be like if Jalen Johnson had just played 70 games every year? Remember, Jalen Johnson was averaging 18 and 11 a year ago. And then he went down after 36 games. Hunter finally scoring 19 points a game. He had to do it off the bench, though. But he was doing it. And the Atlanta Hawks were a competitive team. The Atlanta Hawks, if they was able to keep that going, along with a second runner-up in Rookie of the Year, and Dyson Daniels doing what he was doing, oh, by the way, all defense, finished number 2 in Defensive Player of the Year voting. When people said nobody could play defense next to Trae Young, it was a lie. People just didn't play defense. There's a difference in that. Those players are playing well. The Hawks would have won 46 games a year ago and finished at minimum 6th. And then the playoffs. Imagine the playoffs with Trae Young, and Jalen Johnson and Hunter. Dyson Daniels playing defense. Oh, remember, Zach was playing pretty good last year. 13 a game. He has more 30-point games as a rookie than anybody in Hawks history, including Trae Young. If we had Jalen Johnson and Hunter, Zach wouldn't have been so pressed in his first playoff appearance ever. Remember, Scottie Pippen didn't play that good in his first playoff appearance either. He turned out to be pretty doggone good. Oh, Chris, you're comparing him to Pippen. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that Zach averaged more as a rookie than a whole bunch of Atlanta Hawks over the last 26 years in their first seasons. That's all I'm saying. It's a fact. You gotta believe me, go look it up. But anyway, all that being said, the decision was made, we got rid of that player, right? And with that, all of you who actually do hate that player, your argument, your hatred would have been made valid if the Atlanta Hawks actually went on to win the NBA Finals. Nobody would be able to say nothing to you forever, right? All perpetuity. I knew I hated that player for a reason. He was holding us back. Look at us. We are NBA champions. We have the parade going down Peachtree Street. Right? We got a banner being raised up. Right? That didn't happen, though. As I talked about earlier. We didn't get out the first round. Did we? Remember, the Atlanta Hawks have only been out the second round twice in NBA history. Twice! The Atlanta Hawks franchise. Twice! So why didn't it happen this time? Go back and watch past episodes of Around the ATL, my rants of the day, and I'll tell you why. By the way, Game 5 of my review of the 2026 NBA playoffs is coming soon, especially in lieu of the graphics that have been posted about Hawks defense. I'm going to get into that another time. So I say all of that to get to this question, okay? But before I get to the question, I got a question for you on top of it. Because a lot of people want to say stuff like, oh, well, production, it doesn't translate into winning. And people say that so frivolously without throwing in the other part of that. Well, what about the other players on the team? Don't they got any responsibilities? Let me give you an example. Zach LaVine. You know he's going to give you 30 a night. And you can't figure out how to put a team around that? You got to have somebody who can do that. You actually got somebody, and you can't figure out how to get the other 75 plus points that you need to win a game. You can't figure that out? You know you got 30. Pencil it in. I saw that clip of the Lakers TV series or whatever, Winning Time or whatever. I saw that clip, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar talking about, you're going to get my stats. Yo, just pencil that in. I'm going to get you exactly this every night. Book it. Look at the stat sheet. I'll be. He did exactly what he said he was going to do. Zach LaVine gets you 30 every night, but you can't win with that? That's the organization's fault, not the player. DeMar DeRozan, although he's had a little bit of winning in his career, obviously, right? What about Dame? You can't figure out how to get that man in the playoffs to where Dame time actually matters? He's been to one conference final in his entire career. He's a top 75 player for the NBA. You can't figure that out? How come Dame ain't blamed for that? How come Carmelo Anthony, one of the preeminent scorers of our generation, he's only been to one conference final his entire career? How come you don't blame Carmelo? His points don't mean nothing, right? What he does on the court don't mean a thing. Don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing, right? Dominique Wilkins, those 26,000 points. Not all of them were with Atlanta. I think he got 24. All those points meant nothing, right? Got a couple of slam dunk championships, though, right? That's what people say, I guess, right? Dominique, Carmelo, Dame, and a whole bunch of other great players in NBA history were disallowed the opportunity to win a championship because of their organization not wanting to win a championship. Again, what are the 5 things you need to win regularly? You got to have an owner that wants to win and does everything necessary to win. You have to have a general manager or management that makes the right moves over a long period of time, not just once in a while. You have to have a good to great coach. You have to have good to great players, and you have to have health. Again, how many times has health destroyed all Atlanta sports teams over the decades? Think about just that right there. It's crazy when you really think about it, isn't it? Yeah, I'm going to be late today. I don't even care. So when you keep talking about someone's production doesn't equate to winning, I'm sorry. How come Hunter didn't play defense? I'm sorry. How come Clint didn't stop the centers in the Eastern Conference? Stop them. How come Kevin wasn't consistent? Well, how come he couldn't score more than 12 points a game? Let's start there. He was supposed to give us 18 points a game. I designated him Red Mamba from the very beginning. I have articles. I have episodes on Around the ATL. Countless episodes. But the moment I realized he was never going to give us more than 12, he got to go. We need another shooting guard. He got to go. And he don't play defense. What are we talking about? So here's my question, as I'm almost at work now. What if the Atlanta Hawks finish under the Washington Wizards in the standings this season? What will you say to that? What will be your reasoning, your conspiracy theory? What would you say if that was to happen? If the Wizards finished above the Hawks in the standings, even if it's just one. Hawks finished 7th. Wizards finished 6th. What will you say to that? No big deal. Doesn't mean nothing. So let's go to the next step. What if the Washington Wizards get out the first round and the Atlanta Hawks don't? What will you say then? Does it matter? Luck. Oh, well, there's a lot of good players over there. Is that what you're going to say? You can't say that, I don't think, can you? For those who hate Trae Young, you can't say that. Because if you say that, well, why couldn't we just get good players over here? Why couldn't we do that? Why couldn't we get one of the best power forwards of all time and a rookie of the year and the number 1 draft pick? Why couldn't we do any of that? You mean we couldn't do it? We couldn't do it. Right? Can't get people that finish at the rim all the time. All the time. People who hit open jump shot all the time. People who can actually play defense on the wing all the time. Knicks figured out how to do it around the 6'2" guard. Ain't that interesting? Ain't that something? What if the Washington Wizards make it to the Eastern Conference Finals? Then what would you say? I'm asking a question. Because you don't know what the future will bring, but it's possible, isn't it? What if the Washington Wizards make it to the finals? Then what would you say? What would your argument be at that point? I would like to know what your answer is to that. For those who hated the Atlanta Hawks the last 8 seasons, you only like them now because that other player ain't here no more. Again, we have to win the NBA championship this year. Since we didn't win it this year, we can't just get to the first round again and then that's it. That just can't happen. What if that was to happen? I'm going to ask that question now. If the Hawks make it to the first round and get knocked out again, then what will your excuse be? Because then that'll be back-to-back first round knockouts with a similar roster. Yeah, we added Lou Dort, our draft picks and stuff. Added Wiggins. It's basically the same You know, you're starting to say, if they do what they say they're going to do, they're going to start CJ, who don't pass the ball. You're going to start Congu, who's 6'8", and definitely going to be the smallest center in the NBA at this point, right? Going to get out-rebounded by everybody. Is that the lineup we're really going to start? Come on. Let Kuminga go for nothing. You can't start Lou and Dyson, right? You're not going to do that, are you? You wouldn't do that. So, again, I'm asking these questions because they have to be asked and answered. I'm curious. If the Wizards finish above the Hawks in the standings, get past the first round, but the Hawks don't, what will your reasoning be then as far as excuses? If 2 more years go by and we still haven't gotten to the Eastern Conference Finals, are we going to keep JJ? Because we don't want to pay nobody. That's Hawks history right there. That's Hawks history. Oh, well, we got to go get Anthony Edwards to win a championship. Really? Again, that just doesn't seem viable. What would seem viable is you have JJ and Edwards, but I just don't see how you keep both. I don't see it. We ain't going to pay both. Why would we do that? You see what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm at work, gotta go. Make sure you check out IMTN Worldwide Radio on YouTube for Around the ATL. Peace.